Yo, 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 happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. Back at you for another live stream. Today, we're going to be talking about 6 ways to make brands hate you. Was it a juicy title today? Did it make? I had more people set a reminder to come to this live stream than I normally do. So I feel like maybe I'm getting a little bit better at writing those juicy live stream titles. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going live across YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it. I'm there. And I'm excited today to spit some hot sponsorship flames. We've got Nikki Posley tuning in on Instagram. We've got Angry Owl Outdoors. Hey, everyone listening in while driving. Good to see you. We've got Delilah tuning in. What's up, Delilah? Good to see you here. We've got Dawson's Lane. Good to see you here. I would be remiss if I didn't give a quick shout out to today's live stream sponsor, .store Domains. We're going to be talking about them a bit later in the episode, but pretty cool little meta thing here. I'm a sponsorship coach and I have my live stream sponsored. Pretty cool, right? Can we give some little golf claps in the chat for that one? Let's go. I'm just going to do it. Delilah says, I didn't even notice the title, Justin. I just clicked the notification regardless of the topic that you're posting. I appreciate that, Delilah. We've got Mark Szymanski. How did I do on that one, Mark? Mark Szymanski. I tried it. We've got Dallas Fort Worth today. Good to see you here. We've got Pheno Clips, Coach Miller. I am Elizabeth Love. Belford Williams Jr. says, I cannot wait to read your book. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yes, as you can see, I've got my book sponsor magnet here, which is available for pre-order now. Of course, have you not pre-ordered it? Sponsormagnet.com. Get a bunch of amazing pre-order bonuses as well. And I'm going to give you guys a little taste a bit later in the live stream of something pretty big that I'm announcing tomorrow. So if I forget, don't let me forget. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Okay. All right. So 6 ways to make brands hate you. Oh, the other thing I just wanted to mention is why am I wearing my headphones? I see these are the headphones that I normally wear when I'm doing like interviews, but I'm not talking to anyone today. So why am I doing that? It's just force of habit. All right, there we go. Okay, so the thing I just wanted to mention is, of course, these live streams are for you. And the reason that I do them every week is to answer your questions. So if you have any negotiations that you're working on, brands that you want to pitch, you're having some tough challenges with a sponsor, make sure to drop those questions in the chat because I will be addressing those a bit later in the stream. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is why was I not here last week? Why did I not do a live stream? I mentioned that I couldn't say why. And that's because I flew to Boise, Idaho to record on Nathan Barry's podcast. That was a really exciting and surprising thing. It kind of came up last minute. But it was a whirlwind, basically 48 hours. Less than 48 hours. I flew in basically around noon, and then I left at 3 p.m. the next day. So recorded a bunch of podcast episodes at Kit Studios in Boise, Idaho. And I'm really, really looking forward to that episode coming out on Nathan's podcast. I really respect, so Nathan Barry is the CEO of Kit, formerly ConvertKit. And he's done a lot of, he's an author. He's done a lot of things. He's grown Kit to, I think, close to $40 million a year in revenue, which is insane. So he just has a lot of insight. He's been around this space for a long time. And I was really looking forward to being coached by him, actually. And the topic of our conversation that's going to go live on his podcast was how do I make, now that I'm going to have the book, how should that change my business? Right? Because to date, I've only ever encourage people to join the newsletter. That's been really my main thing, but I've never had a book. I've never had really any way that you could learn from me other than the free YouTube videos, other than the live streams and things like that. But in terms of hey, if you want to pay me to learn more, go through my course, coaching, things like that, those are all fairly high, investment levels, right? But I have this aspiration, and frankly, it's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. I had this aspiration to just have a larger impact, and the way that I felt pulled to do that was through the book. And so now that I have the book, now that it's almost out, I wanted to get his advice about how should that change my business strategy? Should I stop talking about the newsletter? Should I just basically go full court press on the book for, 5 years or whatever? So we got into some really specific details about how the book should change my business. So I'm really, really excited about that episode coming out. So that was the reason why I wasn't there. I've been going on this insane podcast tour. I just did a podcast today. I did a podcast yesterday. I think I have like 5 or 6 podcasts this week. So I'm still trying to shoot for that 100 podcast goal before launch. So I don't know if I'm going to make it happen. We'll see. All right, let's get into today's topic: 6 ways to make brands hate you. The first is to be slow and not answer all their questions. So obviously, like the topic of today is like, do the inverse of all of these things. That really is the advice. When I ran my influencer marketing agency for about 7 years, I was on the receiving end of thousands of interactions. Me and my employees were on the receiving ends of thousands of interactions with creators. And I would say this would be the number one complaint that we had when we interacted with people, is just they didn't take the timeliness seriously about hey, if they come back to us. Here's a perfect example. Let's say a brand comes inbound and they say, hey, we want to collaborate with you. Can you answer these 6 questions or 4 questions or whatever? Like, where are you based? Like, what ages are your kids? Or like, are you available to deliver a draft piece of content by this date? Like, whatever. Sometimes there's like qualifying criteria, that the questions that they have before they can recommend you to their boss or their client, and this would just, oh my God, it would grind my gears so much, where the creators would respond. Maybe they would respond promptly, but they wouldn't answer all the questions. So they would answer 1 of the questions or 2 of the questions, but they wouldn't say if they could deliver on time, or they wouldn't say where they lived, or they wouldn't say some necessary detail that we needed to know in order to move forward with them. And imagine, it's not, okay, yeah, it may not be a huge deal to like email this one person back and like clarify that one question, but oftentimes we were reaching out to 100 people. And so multiply people not answering those questions times 100, or times, let's say 50, because that's really what it was. Probably like 50% of the time people would not answer all the questions. And so it just added so much work to our plate to just try to extract all this information from people. And so you can imagine, like, this is a really, really quick way to just like, the brand is just going to be like face palming, like, come on, just like tell me what I need to know to be able to consider you for this opportunity or not. The other thing that I mentioned is like just being slow. The majority of brands are not running what I would call always on influencer marketing campaigns, where they're like working with partners all the time, activating all the time. Most of the time it's like quarterly campaigns, quarterly initiatives, where they're doing some sort of seasonal thing, or it's a promo that they want to run. There's coupon codes, this type of thing. Or it's a new product launch. So it's not something that they're doing regularly. This, more and more brands are starting to do this always on thing, but the majority of brands are not. And so the reason why this is important is that, brands have what I call an active recruitment phase for collaborating with creators, maybe 10 days each quarter, right? So they decide that they're going to run an influencer marketing campaign, and then they get approval from their boss, or if it's an agency, they get approval from the client, the brand. And they said, okay, yes, we're going to do this. Here's the types of people that we want to work with. Okay, now we can reach out to the creators and, see if they're interested, try to lock them in. And so that 7 to 10 day period where they're actively reaching out and soliciting, hey, are you interested in working with you? If you are delayed even 3 days, but from responding to them, remember they reached out to 50 people, 100 people, right? And so if 30 of those people respond within 5 hours, or within 24 hours, ideally, they're going to prioritize people. They're going to be that much further into the conversation with those people versus you just replying. Who knows? They may have had 10 slots. They reached out to 30 people or 100 people, 30 people responded. And there were some like 10 really enthusiastic, great fit people in that first batch of 30 responses. And so you responding 3 days later, too late. You lost the deal. So, I say this somewhat facetiously, but maybe they won't hate you, but you're going to be passed over for opportunities if you are responding not in a timely fashion. Okay. Dawson's Lane says, does your number of followers matter when it comes to pitching brands? And you know what? We're going to get to that. Remind me, Dawson, a bit later in the live stream, because I want to answer that question because it's an important one. Okay, so that's number one about ways to make brands hate you. Number two is changing your pricing constantly. This happened a ton also, where we would do a great collaboration with a creator. The brand was thrilled. Let's say it was a spring campaign or something. And then the client would say to us as the agency, hey, we want to run a summer campaign now. That spring campaign you ran for us was awesome. Let's engage that creator that we hired for the spring campaign again, because we had a great experience working with them. And similar budget, like, can we make this happen? And we would be like, yeah, sure, no problem. And so then we would reach out to the creator, and nothing will have changed about their metrics. Nothing will have changed about their viewership, about their reach, just maybe incremental increase, very, very, marginal. But the creator all of a sudden is now saying, oh, sorry, I doubled my rates or I tripled my rates or something. And I'm not saying that these creators were like super, super low to begin with. I could understand that. But like just arbitrarily, they're just doubling or tripling their rates. And it made it really difficult for us we had to go back to the brand and said, hey, I know I told you that, we could lock Justin in at this rate, but, he's doubled or tripled our rates and his rates, and we can't work with them anymore. And so we looked like idiots. The brand was frustrated because, normally it would have been a great partnership. And so, of course, what I don't want you to hear is like, don't charge your worth. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you need to have a certain level of predictability that you need to introduce into your business strategy so that partners can justify hiring you over and over and over again. This is one of the primary things that I talk about in my new book, Sponsor Magnet, is it's not just about this one deal. It's about forging a long-term partnership with the brand so that they want to hire you over and over and over again. So yeah, maybe you may make, instead of making $1,000 on this deal or $2,000, you make $1,750 or something. But that $1,750 they renew with you for the next 6 months. So surprise, surprise, you just made a lot more money on this deal, on this relationship, right? And so having that consistency of pricing, and of course, if your viewership increases massively, if your followership increases significantly, your reach increases, then of course you have justification for increasing your rates. But what I am talking about here is pricing consistency, all things being held equal. Okay? This is making sense. Drop a 1 in the chat, drop a praise hands emoji, drop the money tongue guy, drop something to let me know that you're hearing what I'm saying. Is this making sense? We've got Notion Nerds tuning in on Instagram. We've got Judy, Nessa, Judine Saint Gerard. Did I say that correctly? Sorry, all the username is blurred together on Instagram. We've got R Flow, Cheryl tuning in. Cheryl, thank you so much for pre-ordering my book. That really means a lot to me. Thank you. We've got Nikki Posley. Yes, we've got the 1. Yes, Applicatus has the smile emoji. All right, we see Dylan Poole here. My ADV, My Advantage 360 as well. Cherry Vanilla Illustrations. Love to see it here. All right. Third way to make a brand hate you is do something insane that causes PR blowback. So, this is something that actually happened to my agency where we had contracted with a creator on a previous campaign. This was not they had already posted the content, everything was going fine, but then the creator did something insane, something crazy that was newsworthy that got them in the crosshairs, and they were in the process of being canceled, basically. And when this happens, you may have seen this, and the internet mob, basically with all their pitchforks, came for this person. They went basically back through every single brand partnership that this person had done in their Instagram feed, basically, and then went to that brand and started calling their customer support line, started, emailing their contact form and being like, how dare you work with this person? And it may have been a year ago. Doesn't matter. That brand has found themselves in the crosshairs of the internet mob. And so, of course, they have to release these statements saying, we are no longer associating with this person. This was a partnership we did long ago, this type of thing. But this is real. This is something that happened when I ran the agency. And you may have seen this happen before in the past too. And so this is something that brands are eagerly they are not eagerly, they are acutely aware of this risk, which is why they are now doing proactive screening, proactive vetting of partners before they even hire them. And so if you're someone who you're basically posting a lot of hyperbolic stuff on the internet, it may just not be worth it for them to even touch you with the 10-foot pole. I want to call out, because this is a very, very timely question that Blue North Woodworking has about this very topic. Hey, Justin, is it wrong to share opinions online? For an example, you are critical of the government and say as much. If done with considerate language, is this okay? Are brands wary of this? And I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I'm going to give it to you straight. Yes, brands are wary of this. Does this mean you shouldn't exercise your free speech? That's not what I'm saying. It's your prerogative if this is something you want to do. But you also have to be aware of the fact that the comments that you make on social media now aren't just jeopardizing your creator business or your online business. Lots of people are being fired from their real traditional corporate 9-to-5 jobs for crazy stuff that they post on the internet. So it's not just about being a creator. This is like, exercising a level of judiciousness with what you share on the internet. These things have consequences in today's day and age. If you want to air your feelings, I think it's much better to do that in a private environment, in your group text thread with your family or your friends, not publicly on the internet. But again, this is just my personal opinion. I have built a business of, me and my wife have built a business of being brand friendly, meaning that, we have our own personal political leanings, our own beliefs, that, things that we're passionate about, but we share those things privately. Those are not things that we air publicly. And that's just a decision that we've made. Everyone is welcome to their own perspective on this, but I'm just going to be totally straight with you, Blue North Woodworking. Brands are watching, in fact, one of the things that we had to do was they would say, hey, go do a brand safety audit for all these like 20 or 30 people that we're going to potentially hire. Go look at not just the platform that we're going to hire them on, go look at their Twitter, go look at their blog, go look at their YouTube channel, go look at all of these other ancillary platforms that they have presences on, because if they're saying crazy stuff over there, even if they're not activating over there, we might still get pushback or blowback. We don't want to deal with that, right? So this stuff is happening. This is real. And to the point where, for example, like we worked with a lot of family focused influencers when I ran the agency. And it was as simple as a brand would look at a YouTuber's home screen, just like you load their channel. And oftentimes just their thumbnails or their titles would scare the brand off. So for example, random example here. There was one brand that we worked with that, okay, I don't want to name any names. I'm not going to call anyone out, but there are certain family creators who would, if their kid would get hurt or something, or they had to go to the hospital, they would make this thumbnail that was crazy. It was like, kid rushed to the emergency room, and there'd be like blood in the thumbnail, and the kid would be crying, and the parents would be going like this type of thing. Again, not passing judgment. I'm just saying this is real things that happened. A brand would land on, they would see that thumbnail, and even if the video was innocent, they would say, no, we're not working with that person. We're just not going to work with that person. So again, this is real. This potentially could lose you business if you are optimizing for clicks and hyperbole. And, again, I get it. I understand what works with the algorithm and what people click on and things like that. But oftentimes it can be at the expense of other business relationships. Okay. All right. Is this resonating? Have you guys seen people get canceled on the internet here? You know what I'm talking about here? Let me a 2 in the chat. Give me a mind blown emoji. Give me the thinking guy if you know what I'm talking about here. Okay. Okay. The fourth way that you can make brands hate you is to make it seem like you're only in it for the money. Now, I know none of you here would ever do that, right? You would never make it seem like you're trying to be greedy or trying to take every last dollar off the table or trying to just, be really difficult during the negotiation. I know that's none of you. That's none of you, right? But in reality, that's the majority of people. The majority of the people that I interacted with when I ran the agency couldn't care less. All they really cared about was how much are you going to pay me? If you can't pay me this much, then sorry, I'm passing, or that's insulting. That's a low ball offer. How dare, there would just be, it was a very abrasive interaction. And that didn't feel great. Do you think we ever reached out to that person again about a potential collaboration? That even if that collaboration had a healthier budget that was closer to what they quoted us initially? Probably not, because if that is how they're interacting with us at the very outset, then that's a pretty good indicator of what the partnership is going to be like during the execution phase, right? If at the very outset where we're offering to pay them this big bag of money with the money symbol on it, what's going to happen if we have to come back to them with some pretty challenging feedback on the draft content that they delivered for us? They're probably going to also be really, really difficult. So, we learned very quickly to infer how someone is going to behave based on those initial interactions. So if it seems like you're only in it for the money, then that's probably it's probably going to be a contentious interaction down the line. So don't do that. Okay. Please don't do that. Tony says, nah, never. We've got Anthony from the in-between here. Good to see you, man. Tony says you have to create a friendship/relationship with the brand. Yeah. Again, this is, business 101 oftentimes, but sometimes I think it helps to reinforce this. And I really do think that this is like a good reminder for folks. Even I need that reminder sometimes. Point number 5 here. The 5th way to make brands hate you is to make them chase you for stuff. Okay. When I'm saying chasing you for stuff, what I'm talking about is like content or replies to emails or tax paperwork or invoices. I can't even tell you how many times, how much time was wasted by just following up with people who just weren't sending stuff. They said they were going to send something on Tuesday and they didn't send it. We have to follow up on Wednesday and they didn't reply. So we have to follow up again and we have to text them and we have to call them and we have to, again, I don't want to do these things. I never wanted to do these things, but my hand was forced because we had made promises to our client, who was the brand, that, hey, we're going to deliver this big package of draft content for you with these 5 creators that you're working with. And that, 4 of the people deliver stuff on time and then you don't. God, you make the brand hate you when you do that. You make the agency hate you because it makes them look bad, right? And so if you can just have these reminders in your sponsorship tracker, then of the dates in which you need to deliver all these things and just be timely and responsive, and you don't make them chase you for stuff, they're going to love you. They're not going to hate you. Speaking of this, I didn't even mention this yet, but holy cow, I mentioned that I've got some amazing pre-order bonuses for my book Sponsor Magnet. And yes, of course I do. You get access to the first chapter of the book. Also, you get access to 15 negotiation scripts to help you make more money on your deals ASAP. So you can get those right now if you go to sponsormagnet.com and pre-order the book. But when the book actually releases, which is after January 21st, I have a whole lot more bonuses that you'll get access to. And one of them is access to my sponsorship tracker template for free. Holy cow. Did you know that was coming? Let's go. Yes, I'm very excited. I've decided that I'm just going to kind of give away the whole bank. I'm going to give away the whole thing. So there's a lot of bonuses in addition to that one that are coming, but I'm really excited about that one. Okay. Before we dive into Q&A and before we talk about today's sponsored .store domains, I have one more way to make brands hate you. Okay. And that way is to make your contact look bad. Okay. The number one thing that brands that whether it's someone working directly at the brand or someone working directly with an agency, is they don't want to look like an idiot to their boss or their client. This is human nature. This is human nature. They don't want to look like a moron. Okay. And so if you have, your priority is to make them look like a hero, not like a moron. Is this making sense? This is like 101 business. Okay. So if you can basically, let's say that they paid you $1,000 or they paid you $5,000, right? Your job is to make their life easier. For example, when the campaign ends and you ask them proactively, you say, hey, when are you turning in your wrap report, your post-campaign report to your boss or to your client? I would love to deliver my own insights, qualitative and quantitative insights for how I think the campaign went, so that you can provide those insights in your own internal reporting. Because I know you're going to be reporting on this, right? And so how about I do something else? How about I send you a testimonial brand? This is something I talk about in the book. I send you a testimonial. I say, hey, oh my gosh, it was so amazing working with you for XYZ reason. Your product, your brand is amazing. Here were some anecdotal replies from my audience. XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Can't wait to work with you again in the future. What do you think is going to happen when you deliver that testimonial to your contact? They are going to put that in their wrap report. They're going to have their next all hands marketing meeting, and they're going to play your video for the executive team, for the VP of marketing, for the director of marketing, and your contact is going to look like a hero. They're going to look like a genius because do you think any other creator is making testimonials like that? No, they're not. You are. And the next time that they're recruiting for their next campaign, the VP of marketing is going to say, hey, go hire Justin again. Go hire Bianca again. Go hire Charisse again, because that person that made that testimonial video for us. This is how it works. This is how it works. Okay. And these are all next level tactics that you can expect to learn in my brand new book, Sponsor Magnet. Let me know. Drop it in the chat. Who has pre-ordered my book? Soul with Flow, have you pre-ordered my book, sponsormagnet.com? Dawson's Lane _ Rhode Island, maybe, RI, have you pre-ordered my book? John Pajak, Pushing Limits. Who's pre-ordered my book here? Come on, guys. I have this insane goal to get this book in the hands of 10,000 creators by April 21st of next year. So I don't know how the heck I'm going to do it. The only way I can do it is if y'all go and pre-order your book and tell all your friends about it. All right. Okay, here. So real quickly, I want to, I got to give a big, hearty shout out to today's sponsor, which is .store domain. Guys, can we drop it in the chat? A big ups for .store domains. So if you don't know, if you've never heard about .store domains, I've been talking about them on my newsletter and some of my recent podcast episodes. So I just want to, the best way to talk about this is to share a quick story. So my wife, April, and I used to have a merch store. It was called Saturday Sunshine, and we hosted it on Shopify. And we had this ridiculously long URL that we would basically share with people when we did, when we would basically, share to our audience. So we were selling like aprons and mugs and like makeup organizers. And again, this was like for my wife's business. And that was just a whole story. The quick story is that we made about $50,000 over the course of like 2 years running this store in gross revenue, but we netted maybe about 15,000, which was still pretty good, but it was like so much work. It was kind of a nightmare, but it was so worth it for that experience. And I now have a merch store for my own business. But that was really one of the big learnings, was like making things simple, especially with the URL was critical. Like the URLs that we used to share kind of looked like our cats walking across the keyboard. Okay. And so, we spent all this time making great content, investing in making our products awesome, our merchandise awesome. But then we kind of sent our supporters to a link that screamed amateur hour. Right. And so that is why when I created my own merch store, I am now using creatorwizard.store. So I'm joining creators like Mr. Beast, who has MrBeast.store, Dude Perfect, who has DudePerfect.store. My kids love Dude Perfect. And honestly, your store's URL, it's kind of like your thumbnail. It needs to be clean and professional and instantly recognizable. And here's the cool part about .store domains. .store domains actually get 2x more visibility and 87% more clicks than other domains. Plus, when someone searches for your merch, having .store in your URL actually helps you rank better. So do not let someone else grab your .store domain. You can click the link in the show notes and secure yours today. Guys, what do you think? Are you excited about this? Who has a merch store? Who here has heard of .store domains? Who here is going to go out and grab one? Also, I wanted to give one more quick shout out to something that I think is actually really cool that we just talked about in the newsletter today. Is that .store is going to be selecting a handful of creators to give them $1,000 to promote their merch store. Basically, they're running this study where basically they're going to be switching your merch store from like a regular URL to a .store and measuring the impact. And so again, I've partnered with .stores for this. I partnered with .store for this. And if you're interested in this, there's a survey form that I'm going to link right now in the description. Or in the chat, I mean. And if you can't see the chat, if you're on like another platform, survey for .store domains, I'm going to drop this in the YouTube / LinkedIn chat. And if you can't see this, DM me. But they're going to be selecting some creators to do this really cool experiment. So if this is sounding interesting to you, if you currently have a merch store or about to launch a merch store, check this out because, yeah, been really happy with my .store domain, and you should check it out as well. All right, how we feeling? What do we think here? Drop it in the chat. Who's going to check out a .store domain? Yes, let's go. And again, a big part of why I think it's so awesome that we have sponsors for this live stream is that it continues, like partners like this, help me continue to bring you awesome free content, live streams, videos, etc. on an ongoing basis. Okay. So big thanks to .store domains. All right. Let's see here. The in-between here says, I signed up for that study today. Let's go. I love to see it here. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to like pull this up and I'm going to take a screenshot of this because this is amazing. Let's go. Love it. Love to see it. All right. Okay, so let's dive right into the Q&A today. One thing that I wanted to mention is, okay, yes, before we dive into the Q&A, I wanted to mention real quickly this 10,000 copies challenge. Okay, so you heard it here first. I have not shared this anywhere else, okay? I was talking with a friend who's an author, and I told him about this goal that I have to get 100,000 copies of Sponsor Magnet in the hands of creators over the next 5 years, okay? Which is a lofty goal. I understand that's a lot of books. But I'm like shooting for the moon here, okay? And a piece of advice that he gave was that selling 100,000 books is really, really difficult. But selling 10,000 books, there is a pathway to doing that. Number one is you have to write a damn good book, which I have done. I feel very confident that I've written a damn good book. The other thing that you have to do is go on every single frickin' podcast that you can imagine, every single person that you know who is even remotely influential, and ask if they will give you a shout out. I have done that. I am in the process of doing that. The other thing that I can potentially do is gamify the pathway to 10,000. So this is what I am attempting to do. Okay. So I'm emailing my email list about this challenge tomorrow, but you heard it here first. So I have tiers. I have milestones that I have created for the community such that once we pass those book sales milestones, I am going to be, basically everyone in the community is going to be unlocking different exclusive things that I'm going to be doing. So for example, I'm going to pull this up right now so that I can read to you exactly what these bonuses are going to be like. Because yes, I'm very excited about this. Hold on, let me pull it up so I'm like telling you exactly what these bonuses are. Okay, here we go. So, you ready? Are you excited? Okay. 1,000 copies. So right now, real quickly, we are at, actually, let me pull, we just got another book order just now. It must have been one of you on the live stream. This is so exciting. Okay, let me update the total. Okay, so right now, 343 books. That is where we're at. 343 books is how many I've sold for pre-orders. Okay. If we hit 1,000, if we hit 1,000 before April 21st, everyone who has pre-ordered is going to unlock a secret video that I'm calling How I Responded to a Brand That Rejected My Pitch. So basically, do this instead of getting mad or insulted, okay? So you're going to unlock that secret video, okay? When, not if, when we hit 3,000 copies, I am going to be doing a private live pricing workshop. So you can never wonder again how much you should charge. You're going to get invited to that if we hit everyone, if we hit 3,000, okay? If we hit 5,000 copies, okay, I'm going to be doing a private live brand contact hunting workshop. So you can drop into, like, let's say it's on Zoom, you can drop into the chat, this is my dream brand, and I will share my screen and I'm going to show you exactly how I look for this brand. I figure out exactly, like what their email addresses are, probably their LinkedIn URL. That is going to be a blast. I normally do this in my when I do a live cohort of my Brand Deal Wizard course, but I'm going to be doing this mini workshop all around live brand contact hunting. Okay, that's 5,000 copies. If we as a community hit 8,000 copies sold by April 21st, 2025, I'm going to be doing a private live hot seat workshop. So we're all going to come on, people are going to raise their hands and, or we're going to figure out a way to select people. And I'm going to work with you in a hot seat fashion to help you make more money on your sponsorships. I'm going to learn about your business. I'm going to learn about your challenges, and we're going to do rapid fire. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to work with a bunch of creators, and everyone gets to listen and benefit from that. Okay. Are you getting excited about this? Okay, hold on. Here we go. I'm about to announce something crazy. I cannot believe I'm doing this. If we hit 10,000 copies, everyone, all 10,000 of those people are going to get free access to my gifted to paid course, where you can learn how to turn free product offers from brands into paid sponsorships. This course previously retailed for $500. I actually don't sell this course anymore. And so if we hit 10,000 copies, everyone, all 10,000 people are going to get free access to that course. Holy cow. Are we excited about this? Is this insane that I'm doing this? I don't know. Maybe it's insane, but I'm very, very excited. Andy Wang says 100,000 polar plunge. Look, if we hit 100,000, yes, I'm going to do a polar plunge. Like not even a question mark. Not even a question mark on that one. Okay. So yeah, what do you guys, are you excited for this? Is this insane? Is this going to work? I have no idea. Is it fun? Hell yeah, it's fun. That's why I'm all about. I am optimizing for fun. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this. Is this exciting? Mark Szymanski, he in the chat here just said he pre-ordered the book. Come on, guys. Let's give it up. Let's all do a golf clap for Mark, because Mark is a legend. He just pre-ordered the book. He got us one book closer to unlocking the secret video, right? How did I respond to a brand that rejected me, right? Mark wants to know. That's why he just pre-ordered Sponsor Magnet, which is sponsormagnet.com. You know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't pull up the URL. There we go. Sponsormagnet.com. Let's go. I appreciate you, Mark. You're a legend. All right. Grumpy's Great Outdoors says, this is for any pre-orders, right? Not just pre-orders today. Yes, that's for any pre-orders. That's for anyone who has pre-ordered the book. Doesn't matter when. Okay. Pre-orders before the book, but also orders after it launches. So orders after January 21st are also eligible. So it's not just, it's pre-orders and orders. So it's just like getting these copies, getting as many copies in creators' hands as possible. Holy cow, Yusuf just gave me a super chat. Yusuf, you're a legend, man. Thank you. We need the book now. When will it come out? January 21st, man. I'm very, very excited, but of course you can pre-order it now and you'll get access to the first chapter and those 15 negotiation scripts. Okay. Enough shameless self-promo. It is time for me to answer some questions here. We got some questions here from Dawson's Lane. A few questions here on Instagram. Dawson said, does your number of followers matter when it comes to pitching to brands? She also mentioned here, I approached brands and didn't ask for money. I wanted to review products I've already spent a ton of money using. No answer. I did get PR once though. Yeah. So the question generally is is there a certain like baseline level of following that you need to have before you could potentially reach out to brands? And I think, Dawson, this is one of the one of the number one myths that I think is pervasive in the creator economy, that you have to have, let's say, 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 followers before you're eligible, before you're worthy of reaching out to brands. Now, I will be the first to say that there absolutely are brands that have those requirements. And in fact, maybe that's where this came from. Maybe one time you did reach out to a brand and they said that, or you went to apply to an ambassador program or something and they had their, oh yeah, this is the minimum requirement. And so you just kind of figured, well, I guess that's what every brand thinks. That's what every brand's criteria is. And I will be the first person to tell you that it is absolutely BS. However, the thrust of your pitch has to change based on where you're at in your creator journey. So if you are just starting out and let's say you're a YouTuber, okay, and you're getting hundreds of views on average, or you're a short form content creator, whatever, hundreds of views on average. If the thrust of your pitch to a brand when you reach out is, hey, let me talk about you on my platforms, that is likely not going to move the needle for them. Let's just be real here. Okay. And so a much better approach to that pitch would be to analyze their social presence on the internet. Look at their blog posts. Do they even have a blog? Look at their social media. Are they posting semi-regularly? Is the content good? Do they have a podcast for their brand? Right? What is their VP of marketing posting on LinkedIn? Oh, interesting. Let me do this research here and then reach out to them and say, hey, absolutely love your brand. I've been using it for 3 years. I actually think you can be telling your brand story in a more compelling way. I would actually love to create some content for you, brand, on autopilot that I deliver 5-10 videos a month. Maybe I start a podcast for you and I'm the host. I interview your VP of marketing. I interview my friends who are in the industry. I have your, VP of research and development on. We talk about XYZ, right? I will do this for you. And oh, by the way, go take a look at my YouTube. Go take a look at my podcast because that serves as my portfolio. Right? So the thrust of your pitch is very different in the beginning. And a lot of people say like, oh, this isn't a sponsorship like that. I don't really get that, but it absolutely is. You are helping the brand accomplish a much more robust objective than just doing a shout out on your platform. And of course, when you start to grow, when you're getting thousands of views, let's say on average on your podcast or YouTube channel or whatever, then yeah, maybe what you're pitching is a combination of consulting, a combination of content for the brand to use. And yeah, maybe doing a shout out for the brand on your social media, on your platforms now becomes meaningful. Okay, now let's say you have achieved some serious scale, right? You're doing tens of thousands of views or hundreds of thousands of views, or you've got a huge audience now. Then of course, the thrust of your pitch can be, I'm going to talk about you on my platforms. I'm going to give you a shout out because that is going to be super meaningful for the brand, right? And so this is what I call those 3 stages that I just described. This is what I call my sponsorship continuum. So you have to orient yourself. You have to be objective and look in the mirror and say, okay, where am I at right now? What should I be pitching the brand to have the most meaningful outcome for not just them, but also for me? Okay. Is this helpful, Dawson? I hope this is helpful. John Pajak just said, I just pre-ordered 3 Sponsor Magnet books because John, you saw that little thing on there and you said, you know what? I want to practice juggling. Book juggling practice. That's what you said. Did any of you think that was funny where I put those little things on the pre-order page? I'm just trying to have a good time here. Natasha just said she pre-ordered. Hold on a second here, guys. We are having a pre-order train, a pre-order party. Let's go. Guys, I appreciate you, John, Natasha, Mark, all of you. I appreciate you. All right. Okay. Dawson said, very helpful. Love to see it here. All right. We got some questions here from Anthony. Are there any creative ways / places to promote your media kit? I just made us a killer kit. All right. Great question, Anthony. And I have some ideas for you. So the first idea is number one. I always recommend. In fact, I have an article on my blog about this, about why I believe it's important to make your media kit public. So for anyone listening who doesn't understand what a media kit is, so a media kit is basically usually like a 2 to 3 page document where you give an overview of your presence on the internet, usually, right? It's like, here's all the social platforms I'm on. Here's my following. Here's my audience demographics. Potentially, here's like ways in which I collaborate with sponsors and things like that. And the error that a lot of people make with this is they put their pricing in their media kit, which is a separate conversation. But the error that I see, and like maybe some people put like logos of brands that they've worked with, right? Like, oh yeah, credibility, social proof, right? And so that exercise, people always ask me like, is a media kit necessary? Do I need this? And the anecdote I always share is like, of the last, let's say 100 partnerships that my wife and I have done, we've been asked for our media kit maybe like 5 times, right? So it's like a minority of the time that we're asked for this. But I do still encourage the act of creating a media kit because it can be helpful to clarify your creator identity. So you can understand, okay, I want to learn more about my audience. I can start surveying them. Let me get actually some data back that would be more useful to my prospective partners than just audience demographics, right? I could start learning about how I describe myself. What is my value proposition as a creator? What is unique about me and my audience and things like that? By the way, like, what do I think is unique about my audience for Creator Wizard? I think the unique thing is that everyone in my audience is business minded. They're trying to turn this into a business. They're trying to make money. They are not screwing around on TikTok. They are not focused on audience growth. This is like a big differentiator from a lot of other kind of creator focused coaches that, because there's others, right? But a lot of those people focus on audience growth. Like, how do you get more views on your videos? Or, how do you do better hooks? And like, that's just like the sexiest topic is people want to get more followers. People want to grow their audience. But I don't focus on that at all. You've probably noticed if you're on my newsletter, if you follow my content and things like that. And so this is one of the things that I talk about when I engage with prospective partners is I say, this is a very different type of creator persona. And in fact, this is a more valuable persona than perhaps other people that you may be talking with, because these are people who want to invest in their business to grow their business. This is a very different type of creator. And so that story, being able to tell that narrative, and that is a true narrative. It's not, I'm not just making it up. I have borne this out through lots of interactions with my audience and surveys and things like that, right? So it's like an important thing. So media kit, my advice to you, Anthony, is, make this thing public, whether this is just a downloadable PDF on your website. I actually think it'd be pretty cool to make a web page version of this. In fact, one of my past students, Pete Matheson, he did this. He took his media kit and he made a section of his website. I think it was called, I'm going to butcher this, but it was like, PeteMatheson.com/media kit or partners or something like that. I don't remember the URL, but he had all this data on there and it looked super cool. And it was public. It wasn't like something he was hiding. Because a lot of people are asking or thinking like, oh, I don't want to make this public because I don't want people like my regular audience, my regular viewers to know like what I'm charging for partnerships or whatever. And so this is another reason to like remove it and not say that, or not show that. And then the other advantage, again, going back to like something that we were talking about earlier at the top of the live stream, about this vetting, this early, like soft vetting that agencies, that brands are doing on you and your business before they ever reach out to you, right? They are not reaching out to you to ask all these little details. They are ascertaining those things by sleuthing on the internet. So the more that you can provide them, better yet, Anthony, is having case studies on there, having case studies on your website that they can click through. They can see, of course, this is like non-proprietary information that you're sharing in these case studies for past partners. But like that is the most helpful thing to have publicly, because then the brand can see that and they can feel even more certainty around recommending you to their boss or their client. Okay. Anthony says, oh, definitely make a web page, post it to LinkedIn. Heck yeah. If you go on my LinkedIn, in fact, I'll post my LinkedIn. Everyone here who's not connected with me on LinkedIn, this is your invitation to connect with me on LinkedIn. I just dropped it in the YouTube chat. But it's basically just, LinkedIn, Justin N. Moore is like my URL on LinkedIn. But I have that pinned as one of my like featured featured things at the top of my shelf, right? So I absolutely would recommend sharing your media kit there. In your link tree, if you have a link tree on social media, you can also link it there. Another one other of my favorite tactics is having what I call your Instagram hosted media kit, where you have a story highlight that is excerpts from your media kit. So it's like, you could just start it by like, hey, case studies. That's always what I like starting media kits with, is case study from brand X, case study from brand Y in the next frame, audience demographics, slice of your, your reach and your following and things like that. So it's like brands land on your social media and like boom, 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 boom. They can, go through that very quickly and get an understanding of like what your capabilities are. And you can also have a bio, like an about me Instagram story highlight, where it's like, hey, 10 frames. Hi, my name is, Anthony. Next frame. We live in here. This is why we started creating content on the internet. Next frame, right? And so it's just like a very, very quickly, the brands can get an assessment of like, whether you would be a good partner. Holy cow! Just got a super chat from Dylan. Cool, $10, bro. Thank you so much, man. One thing you may not know about these super chats is these all go into the DoorDash date night fund for me and my wife. We usually order food on Friday nights, and anytime I get a super chat, that goes in to the DoorDash fund. So, bro, I appreciate that very much. That really means a lot to me. And John Pajak says in Instagram, the book The Juggling sold me. Well, there we go. See how copywriting works, y'all? Copywriting works because John wasn't going to buy 3, and then he saw the copywriting. He saw that, I want to be a book juggler, and that's what we got. So appreciate you, dude. All right, I got a question here. I think I saw a question from Tony, and Rachel also had the same question. So let me scroll back up to see if I can find Tony's question. Tony, where do you reach out to brands for collaborations besides DMing them? That's a great question, Tony. And if you may have followed me for a while, you know that I'm not the hugest fan of sliding in a brand's DM on social media, because the person managing that handle is almost never the decision maker. That is usually the person who is just handling community engagement. Basically they are wondering, they're the ones, there's a person who's upset over their lukewarm burrito and they're giving them a $5 coupon to Chipotle. That's what those people are doing oftentimes, right? And honestly, that person usually does not work at the brand if it's a large brand. That is a agency handling community engagement for the brand usually. So it is a much better investment of your time to basically do research on who you believe are the best decision makers at the brands. And so using tools like LinkedIn to target, like, hey, okay, we've got 10 people on the marketing team based on my sleuthing here. Let me go read their job descriptions. Let me understand based on what I'm reading, based on their job titles, based on their career trajectory. One thing I talk about a lot, I talk about it in my book actually, is like learning, okay, this person used to have this title at their last job. They were an influencer marketing manager. Their title now at the current company is a little bit different, but based on the fact that they were doing influencer marketing in their last role, probably I can infer that that's a similar thing that they're doing in their current role. So there's lots of these types of inferences that you can make. But again, it's like you have to educate yourself about this process. And then once you zero in on who the likely brand contact in, there's tools out there that you can use to find their email addresses. And so I'm a much bigger fan of using of doing like targeted research on LinkedIn and then emailing them directly versus sliding in their DMs. Guys, I am in the arena right now. I am literally doing this right now. When I say in the arena, what I mean is that I literally just cold pitched a brand yesterday to potentially be a sponsor of my event. So let me think about, is this a cool idea? Yes, I'm going to show you the brand that I just pitched. I wasn't planning on doing this, but guys, I'm going to like prove to you that I'm like eating my dog food. This is like what I do. Okay. I am going to show you, they have not responded yet, by the way. But I'm going to show you that this is what I do. I like practice what I preach, and I'm going to show you the pitch that I just made. I wonder if I don't know if I can share audio. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try this. Okay. Let me share my screen here. Are you guys excited for this? Okay, let me share my screen. And I don't know if it's going to play audio or not, but we're going to try this here. Okay. Okay. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I think you guys are excited. Okay, share screen. Share screen. And also share audio from the tab. Yes, this is what I want to do. And I'm sharing this screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, can we see this screen? Maybe a little bit. Let me zoom it in a little bit. Okay, so I am pitching Perplexity, the AI tool, on sponsoring my event. And so I targeted the person that I thought was going to be the best fit for this. And it's a person named Ryan. And I said, yo, Ryan, I coach creators to use Perplexity in kind of a strange way, doing deep research on the brands they want to pitch for partnerships. I've got an in-person event next March in San Antonio and had an idea for how we could collaborate. And then I linked this video. So you guys want to see the video? And I said, free next Monday or Tuesday to chat. Okay, here we go. I already have it open. Okay, here's the video. Are you guys ready for this? I hope this is going to play. Okay, here we go. Hold on. I got to turn up the volume because I don't know if this is going to work. Tell me, can you guys let me know in the chat? I don't know if this, I'm just going to play it and we'll see if this works. Yo, what's going on, Ryan? So nice to connect with you, man. You do not know me. My name is Justin Moore, and I run a business called Creator Wizard. We've got about 35,000 creators in our community, and we teach people all about sponsorship strategy. And so I use Perplexity, and we coach our creators to use Perplexity in a pretty interesting way. The chief amongst those is using it to research brands that they want to pitch for collaborations. So one of the main things that we teach people is, like, instead of just shooting your shot and reaching out in an email or spamming their press email or DMing them on social media being like, I love your brand, is to do some research about what it seems like their focus is for, let's say, Q1 or Q2 of 2025. And so when I was doing my research about what you guys seem to be focusing on, and obviously I know you focus on partnerships in consumer and things like that, it seems like you've got a lot of really exciting things coming down the pipeline, and wanted to float an idea by you. So I am hosting my very first in-person event in March in San Antonio. And was curious if you might be interested in sponsoring the event. So it's called Sponsor Games. It's a very different type of event. So it's not like a traditional conference where you're going to fall asleep. There's no panels, there's no workshops, there's no keynotes. Essentially what I'm doing is turning my 8-step sponsorship wheel framework into 8 games that our attendees are going to play to master the concepts. And I would absolutely love for Perplexity to sponsor the pitch game. So basically, we're going to have separate sponsors for each game. For example, one of our sponsors is PaperSign, and they're going to be sponsoring the contract game. So they're like a digital contracting tool. So, anyways, I'm shooting my shot, man. Is this like sounding cool, sounding interesting to you? I think that would absolutely love to kind of chat through what your objectives are, your success metrics for like moving into 2025. What do you say? Want to hop on a call? Let me know your thoughts, man. Thanks again. All right. So what do we think about that? This is so fun. I was not planning on showing my pitches, showing how the sausage is made before I even locked in the sponsors. But like, is this like interesting to y'all? Did you like being able to watch that, see that? Drop it in the chat. What ideas? Drop a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed watching that. Drop a praise hands emoji. Give me the mind blown emoji. Give me a diamond. Give me something, guys. If you were into this, because I'm very transparent. Like I don't know if this pitch is going to work. I'm going to keep following up with this guy. I'm going to maybe pitch someone else if they don't respond. But I want to show that like I am literally doing the stuff that I'm talking with y'all about. I am not like making this stuff up. I'm I'm a practitioner of this. It's constantly something that you have to be doing in your business proactively. You can't just wait for brands to reach out to you. You have to make stuff happen. And this is what I'm trying to like live by example here. So I hope this was like helpful for you. And Mecca says an hour later, but I made it here. Hey, Justin, nice to see the behind the cameras. Yeah, good to see you here as well, man. We've got John with some praise hands emojis. Dawson said, I loved it. I would have never, ever thought about sending a video. Yeah. Video pitches is one of my favorite things to do because it just puts a face to the name instead of just being this, random person who's reaching out being like, pay me money. It's like, hey, I'm a person. I am personable. I think I have a pretty unique event that I'm putting on, and I would really love to have your brand be a part of it. I think the video is a really nice touch. I'm really hoping the gears are turning for y'all. And again, if this is exciting to you, you're going to learn way more of these kind of next level tactics about collaborating with brands in my new book, Sponsor Magnet. Whoa, did you see how smooth that was? Did you see how smooth that transition was? And if you want to pre-order it, I'm announcing tomorrow something that I'm calling the 10,000 Copies Challenge. I am trying to get this book in the hands of 10,000 creators by April 21st, 2025. And so if you want to be a part of that, and if you want to start unlocking all these cool little tiers, as we sell more and more copies of the book, go to sponsormagnet.com, pre-order your copy today. And again, big shout out to today's live stream sponsor, .store Domains. If you have a merch store, if you're thinking about launching a merch store, absolutely check out getting a .store handle or .store domain for your merch store. You can click the link down below. Again, so appreciative to them for the support. And I'll see you all on the flip side. Another live stream in the books. Let's go. All right, everyone.